At Direct Service Garage Doors, we are your one-stop shop for all things garage door. From garage door repair and broken spring replacement to new garage doors and openers, we do it all. We're proud to be among the highest-rated local garage door companies in all of Central Arkansas. Our highly trained technicians are available 24 hours a day at no extra cost to you. So if you have an emergency, call us today, 501-244-3667, or visit our website at directserviceoverhead.com. Don't wait days. We'll fix it now.
All right, everybody. Happy Monday. Oh, I know that bruises the soul just a little bit. Hope you guys are doing well. Let's, I hope you had a happy Father's Day as well. Yeah? Hope you had a good one. You grilled a little bit, did a little barbecue. All right, 3, 2, 1. Yo. I'm trying to stick with Circle. I'm trying so hard. It's just so damn expensive. The flavors are all pretty good, though. All right. Let me get this refreshed here. Hope you guys, again, I hope you're all doing really well. Published some edited content on Friday for you guys. If you haven't watched it, feel free to go watch it. Talked about KJ getting a little bit of preseason love. I've been trying to get caught up on the preseason magazines. I don't know if you guys, anyone who's followed me long enough knows this is like, it's a good place to start, right? If you want to get caught up, you check out the Lindy's and the Athlon preseason magazine. If you want to get caught up on all your, the rest of the conference, that's really what I use it for. They're getting better about, because of the transfer portal. When was it? 2021 when they were publishing articles that had players that had already transferred out. And I'm sure there's still mistakes. Again, these kids today, you could just, we all know, right? You could leave whenever the hell you want. Now, when you're eligible, that matters. You have to hit the window just right. But the preseason magazines are doing a little bit better job. I skimmed Athlon, and they did a pretty good job. So I wanted to talk about that too, just here in a minute. Of course, I lost my place in my magazine here, where I had Arkansas saved. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe. If you're new, subscribe. Here, I'll tell you what. I'm going to put my John Daly card that I have here. I'm going to put my John Daly card as a placeholder. No, I don't want to do that. I don't want to mess up that card. I'm going to get him to sign that one of these days. Who should I put? I got Steve Atwater, Joe Falcon, who ran track here, Steve Little, Quinn Grovey, Johnny Ray, Mel Magaha. I don't know who that is, but I'm going to use his card. I'm sorry, Mel. There we go. We're going to use that as a placeholder. Okay. Shout out to this show's sponsors, The Odd Soul Craft Bar Pizzeria, located in Springdale, Arkansas on Emma Street. My kids are screaming right out my door. I'm sorry. A little distracted. Fantastic IPAs, calzones, wonderful pizzas. I don't think I've ever had anything there where I was like, it's mostly just good. And I'm not saying that. Listen, I went after them for a reason to become a sponsor. So, I'm really happy to have the Odd Soul Craft Bar Pizzeria on board. And, of course, Direct Service Overhead, the Garage Door Company. Central Arkansas, Northwest Arkansas, they got you covered. Same-day services, quality parts, affordable outcomes. Their link is provided for you down below. All right. Patreon supporters, I'm going to do a live chat after this in Discord if we get enough people. If we get, just enough of you. Doesn't have to be a whole bunch, just enough of you guys. We're going to get in a little bit deeper on some of the recruiting stuff that I won't. I'm not going to repeat here. I'm not going to say here. I'm going to save it for you guys in Discord. I've got some really interesting stuff that I want to talk about. For Patreon ears only. So if you're a Patreon member and you're in our Discord, you're going to not want to miss it. When I'm done here, I'm going to eat dinner really quick, and then I'm going to grab my laptop. I'm going to go in the garage, light up a cigar, maybe a glass of whiskey, and we're going to sit down and talk. Again, if we get enough of you This is late notice. I know it's late notice. You guys are like, wait, what? I didn't know. I didn't know. I'm sorry, but hopefully we get enough of you that want to get in on it. Okay. We do have College World Series updates. It's going to bum you out a little bit. Stanford eliminated by Tennessee. So who's left in the College World Series out of the SEC? Right now it's Florida, LSU, and Tennessee. That's the most of any conference because, of course, it is. Although I would say I'm a little bit surprised that Florida is there. A little bit. Just a little bit. I kind of thought I didn't think they'd even, I don't know. Going into the season, I just wasn't that high on Florida. Not where people had them, and clearly, and I'm not the only one. I know this was a conversation that was being had in some other places, but Florida's still alive. They have 0 losses if this is updated. Now, they play tonight, right? I think they play tonight. Let me refresh this. Yeah, okay. I'm pretty sure, yeah, they have to play tonight because you still got TCU, Oral Roberts, who's got 1 loss. TCU's got 1 loss. Wake Forest. Interesting to see what happens there. So Florida, TCU, ORU in bracket 1, and then in bracket 2, Stanford eliminated by Tennessee today. I caught a little bit of that ending. Stanford just could not hit Tennessee at all. I mean, it was just Tennessee's pitching is just, man, when they're on, and they're arguably one of the best bullpens, probably in postseason play, one of the better bullpens. But Wake Forest, LSU, and Tennessee are left in bracket 2. And bracket 2, so someone is playing. So I'm assuming, yeah, LSU and Wake Forest must be playing tonight. I thought we had 2 games tonight. I don't know. Whatever. It was sweet, and I picked Stanford. We did something in Discord. Shout out to Will Watkins. Will Watkins did a forum. If you pick, and I kind of wish Will would have given me a heads up because I would have put this on blast. But we have a forum for College World Series winner contest, and the winner is going to get a $25 Amazon gift card from Will Watkins. So shout out to Will. I had Stanford winning the whole thing. I don't know why. Because they beat Texas. It was like, that's just, those are good vibes right there. All right. What up, Shoddy? What's up, John? How you doing, man? What's up, Trey Carter? Look at that. We got a member in the house. We got a member. Tuz Talk with Tide YouTube member. Awesome. Welcome. Go Tigers, I guess. Ugh. Can they all lose? First live in a while, but glad to be here. What up, Ty? I pray that you and the family are blessed. Woo pig, baby. Blood Diamond Entertainment. You're always in here with the kind words. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. I actually did have a drink today. Yeah, I got a little bit of my Bird Dog flavored whiskey. I think it's blackberry. I think it's what it is. It's so good, though. Praline is still the best. Praline is still the best, man. If you like whiskey, it's a little sweet. Not gonna lie to you, it's a little sweet. You could always just drink whiskey straight up, but I love the flavored stuff. All right, yeah. Shout out. Oh, of course. Shout out to Patreon supporters as well. Right, you guys are all fantastic. You know this. Hang on just a second. I don't know what this is. I've got a prompt here on my screen. So we are going to get caught up. We're going to get caught up on some recruiting stuff. I know that this is we haven't gone in enough on some of the recruiting. Now, we do have some announcements coming up, and we're going to go over those here in just a second as soon as I can figure out what this prompt is. Hang on. What is this? Please don't close out my computer. I don't know what this is. I got one of those weird red X prompts, and now it's like pulling stuff up. Did I just get hacked? Is that what happened? I don't know. I think I got it straightened out. Okay. Legendary status members, by the way, you guys, starting in July, all legendary status members are going to get specific shout-outs to your Patreon name or just whatever. Some of you use your Patreon names. Some of you use your real names. But we're going to try to get into the habit of that. So I want to do that for the month of May. Jay Massey, Thomas Nunley, Timothy Wisent, and Will Watkins are all legendary status members. Those are $20 and up Patreon members. So I want to get in the habit of doing that. Officially, it's all going to start in July, but I just want to get in the habit. But that's the month of May, so the next month we'll go over the month of June. All right. Let's light the fires and kick the tires, Big Daddy. We have Arkansas's had. We know that the month of June last year was kind of nuts. Arkansas last year, June and July last year. You had Christian Ford commit June 19th. Isaiah Augustov, who I am so excited about. I don't know how many carries he's going to get this year. I kind of wish he would take on the Pete Carroll approach when it comes to red shirt. Just let him play. Burn the red shirt. And in this day and age, why not? Why not? Just burn the red shirt. I mean, it's you just don't know, and we're talking about commitments. In high school recruiting, I still love keeping up with it as best I can, and obviously now you've got the portal, which is a beast in and of itself. And by the way, all these names I'm about to go over for the possible commitments coming up in June and July, they're all high school. None of these are transfers. Obviously, you're out of room, sort of, more or less out of room. But so this is all high school. But it's like, what's the point of redshirting anymore? Why do you do it? If you can get a kid to stay on campus, I'm going to tell you, a lot of them want to play. They want to play. They don't want to come here in redshirt. They know they have the ability to make it onto the field. Of course, sometimes for a lot of these kids, they come in and, summer voluntary workouts kind of kick their ass a little bit. It gets a little overwhelming. Then they got to get ready for class. And then you've got fall workout until eventually you're into it gets really real once fall workout comes along, and then you have prep week, right, which is your week one opponent. But what are you doing redshirting anymore? These kids anymore, it's like you want to do everything you can to keep them happy once you get them here. And it seems to me, and this is me talking to some other folks, right, seems to me like it's kind of it's a bit of a challenge if you want to toss a red shirt on a kid. Now, they've done it, and you're going to see some redshirt freshmen play this year. You're going to see a redshirt freshman wide receiver from Fayetteville. He's going to be a redshirt freshman. You're going to see at least a couple of redshirt freshmen. So it's not, you just know that it's a challenge to keep these guys happy. So Isaiah Augustov is probably going to be someone that catches a red shirt, but I say, why not? Just burn it. Why not? Anymore, you want to keep them happy. And then also you have to figure out what are the odds. When you look at Sam Pittman over the last 3 years, they've had a mass exodus of players. They absolutely have. Why? I don't really know. Was there some toxicity? Was it, guys not getting the playing time, whatever? I just know that Arkansas with the portal got hit. And you could say it was trimming fat. And I hate to say that because it's kind of like just tossing these kids off to the side. But in a way, it is a business, right? And we are talking about, these are scholarships, right? They want to give these scholarships out to players that they feel like are worthy of those scholarships and that are going to contribute onto the field. But there've been a few that I know we did not want to see leave, and a couple of them I think had a huge impact in the secondary. Brooks and Fouché, you could talk about those guys. You're going to lose Slusher this year to the portal, but you have had a mass exodus of players. So the point I'm making, why not just burn it? You're talking about their freshman year. What are the odds? It seems like it's getting more and more, I don't want to say rare just yet, but it's becoming more and more uncommon that kids stay where they're initially recruited to. I mean, how many years are we into this? Into the instant eligibility, depending on when you hit a transfer portal window. What are the odds, especially these four-star big-time players like Augustov, and I'm not saying he's going to transfer once he gets here. I'm not saying that at all. They could redshirt him, and as far as I know, he could be completely fine with it. But I'm just saying, just for a level of certainty, maybe you ought to just think about burning these red shirts. Alex Sanford committed last June. That's really where this was starting, right? We're talking about kids starting off for kids committed in June last year. So you had Christian Ford, safety, 6 foot, 185-pound kid, 3-star out of Texas. Isaiah Augustov, 4-star running back, big time, 92 overall, 4-star according to 247. Top 15 running back in the country. I'm telling you, man, this kid's going to be good. Alex Sanford was another one. This is a guy that I like, 6'3". I have not seen him in person. I don't know. According to people who have stood side by side to him, he is legit a tall 6'2" or a short 6'3". He's got that frame. He's got the build. He's a top 15 player out of the state of Mississippi, top 65 linebacker, according to 247. He committed June 26th, right? So there's 3. You had R.J. Johnson commit June 25th of 2022. 6 foot, 280-pound defensive back. Ian Jaffrard, remember we struggled with his last name. He committed as an offensive tackle, according to 247, part of the 2023 class, committed in June 20th. Jalen Braxton. So then you start going into the month of July. So you have right there 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kids that committed in June of last year. You had 5. That's a lot for a single month. And that became your heaviest month. And I want to say the year before they had, maybe I'm getting my numbers mixed up, but I want to say they had close to double that the year before. But they're also, if you've noticed, they're transfer heavy now. They're transfer heavy. That's where they're going with this. So July of last year, you had several commits. Jalen Braxton committed, the corner, 6-foot corner, out of another kid out of Texas. He committed July 9th. Davion Dozier, July 13th. Wide receiver. He's that 6'3", 6'4" kid they're really excited about. 4-star, 91 overall, 4-star, according to 247. TJ Metcalf. This is a guy. He was here during spring camp. I watched him a little bit. Wouldn't shock me to see him be in the 2 deep. I'm telling you, would not shock me to see TJ Metcalf. I'm telling you, I'm going to say it again. Getting here during spring is huge. It is so big for your career if you can make it in, to get a head start. And you could still end up being a very average player or whatever, but it gives you a little bit of a head start. But TJ Metcalf would not shock me if he breaks into the 2 deep. I think right now he's projected 3 deep. I could be wrong, but he committed July 1st of last year. Paris Patterson, I think, was a 4-star composite and a 3-star 2-5. He was considered a steal, kid out of St. Louis, 6'6", 345-pound interior offensive lineman. He committed July 4th. Brad Spence, linebacker, 6'2", 6'3", 225, another kid with some good size. July 12th. And then Dylan Haas, of course, the brother of Luke Haas, committed July 1st. So, saying all that to say, we know they're not done. So who's next, right? So far this year, you've had C.J. Brown out of Bentonville, 3-star. Location. C.J. Brown, that's a big one. And then Akari Johnson. What a kick-ass name, by the way. Akari Johnson, 5'11", 175-pound athlete. Both 3-stars. I think that's 247. Both these guys committed in June. So, what is up next? Who's up next? What are we looking at? First off, I'm going to start off. We'll start with Braylon Russell, okay? I believe July 14th is when he's supposed to announce. I can say, it sounds like to me at the moment, and it feels like every other day, this is kind of, one day it's, well, he's all in on Tennessee. The next day he's all in on Arkansas. I don't really know. I have no idea. That, Patreon supporters, you're not going to get anything there because I don't know. When we go live in Discord later, I don't know what's going on with Braylon Russell. I have heard Tennessee. I have heard Arkansas. It sounds like it could just come down to the final minutes of this thing. I don't know. But July 14th is when Braylon Russell, 4-star running back out of Benton, Arkansas, is supposed to commit somewhere. He didn't exactly climb the 247 ratings like I thought he would. Really good back. I think Otis Kirk told us he was a low 4.5. When you're talking 6'2", 230, I mean, that's a big dude. So he is supposed to announce in July. I have not heard. Someone DM'd me and asked me if I'd heard if he had moved up his date. I've not. I don't know. As far as I know, it's still July 14th. Let me go back to chat here really quick. Would rather root for LSU than Florida or Tennessee. Ooh. It's a meat market. Coach JB says Camo Gang. Just showing up, Ty. Please tell me what I missed. All right, we're just getting into it, man. We're just diving into it, Trey. Thanks for joining us, though. I wouldn't be surprised if every freshman gets at least their 4 games. Yeah, the 4 game is the you're going to get 4 games, and you don't burn your red shirt. But Augusta, you don't need to, right? Running back who I don't know. You don't need to burn his red shirt. I understand that, but there's some other positions where I wonder, yeah, they're gonna burn so and so's red shirt. They're gonna burn his red shirt. Who do you think is the biggest transfer we lost? Was it Catron, Slusher, probably Dominic? Jordan Dominic was. I don't know. That one I don't get. I do think it's bigger than what people are saying. Like, he had his biggest games against non-conference opponents. I think that was the case. I know that was something that was often repeated either on Twitter or here or in Discord. I'd have to go back and look, but I mean that was a pretty big loss. I think it was. That's tough. Catron Jackson is tough because he's so young. And we don't really know what his ceiling was. I know he was dealing with some injury stuff. Slusher, I think, when you're talking about the secondary, that's a pretty big loss too. None of those losses are, you don't take any of them lightly, right? I mean, those are all 3 big losses. I would argue probably Slusher, but, I felt like, he made it onto the field as a freshman. And when he played, what was it, Georgia? His freshman year, he comes out and he forces a fumble, and I just had a wonderful game. His first game on the field. And you're thinking, well, maybe there's our next Catalan. You saw that. Catalan's the other big one, right? The reason why I think fans don't view that as a huge loss is because that guy could never stay healthy. The Russell guy looks better on film than he does live. I watched him a couple times last year. Yeah. I have family in down there in Benton, the Benton Bryant area. I kind of want to go down there, visit them, and go watch him play. I haven't seen him play. Do you think the local talent? My voice. I don't know what happened there. I'm 39, going on 13 apparently. Do you think the local talent we get will impact the end result of our future teams? Make a winning program and have successful seasons? I mean, you cannot solely rely on local talent. You just can't. I will say this class, I think Arkansas has offers out in the 2024 class to the top, I think every top 10 player except maybe one, last I saw. Tony, I've always thought that Catron was a big loss. He was just touching his potential. Yeah, and his problem was he couldn't stay healthy. Catron Jackson really struggled. Y'all pardon Ty and his midlife puberty issues. Yeah. I don't know what that was all about. Oh, man. Prime definitely gave Dominic and Slusher a bag. Slusher was a big loss. Only because, yeah, sure, he was a part of a really bad secondary, but he wasn't a big part of the problem. I don't think he played as well last year as he could have, and I think a lot of that had to do with injuries. Hang on here. I'm trying to pull up. All right, so let's get into whose announcements are coming up. You have Jaquan McCroy coming up. That's going to be June 30th. We already talked about Braylon Russell. Kobe Branham out of Fort Smith, like this kid a lot. I've been talking about him for a while. And then you have Chris Johnson Jr. He's going to announce on July 4th. So Chris Johnson Jr., July 4th. His teammate is actually already you have his teammate, Jaden Allen, currently committed. Arizona State and Oregon are all over this kid. I think it's Arizona State's the other big one. But Oregon's in the mix. I think he has a visit. Maybe he has a visit left. But Chris Johnson, 6'1", 180-pound, 3-star corner. He's a top 50 corner in the nation, according to 247 Sports. Texas, he's a top 90 player in the state of Texas. And again, that's just 247. That's not their composite. So his announcement, July 4th, Chris Johnson. Jaquan McCroy, out of Pinson, Alabama, June 30th, 4-star, .93. Could he be next? Could he be the next Razorback? Kobe Branham, 6'5", 320. His announcement date, June 26th. Could he be the next Razorback? They also had Tylen Singleton on campus. I don't know a ton about him. I know he's a big kid. He's like 6'2.5", 6'3", somewhere between 215, 220. I'd heard that there's some schools that might be interested in him playing not safety, playing linebacker. He's a big dude. He's got a big frame. Arkansas has him offered as a safety. He is listed as a safety. Will probably play safety. But someone had mentioned to me that they had thought that someone had offered him to play, to possibly play another position outside of safety, or maybe kind of put him in one of those hybrid spots. So far, C.J. Brown and Akari Johnson are committed so far in the month of June. Bentonville, C.J. Brown from Bentonville and Akari Johnson out of Texarkana. Those are your commits in the month of June. So is this going to be something like where we start to see more names pop up in going into July, and it's obvious? I mean, Braylon Russell, if you got a July commit, maybe it would be Braylon Russell. And I'm missing a name. And again, I'm probably overlooking somebody, so if I'm leaving somebody off, feel free. You can comment. I'll look it up just to verify. Or if you're watching this after the fact, after we've gone live. Feel free to leave a comment down below if I'm missing anybody. But so far, they're waiting on what looks like 4 possible commitments. Could it be Chris Johnson? Could it be McCroy? Russell, Branham? I don't know when Singleton's going to announce. Again, I'd be real honest with you. I don't think. Well, we'll go in on that. I might go into a little bit more. What little I know on that in the Discord Patreon chat. But, yeah. Chris Johnson has Arizona State and Oregon. And, again, they have his teammate Jaden Allen currently committed. So, where are you, class of 24? Right now you have 11 total commitments. Charleston Collins, I don't know if you guys saw, he got a pretty big boost a little while back out of Little Rock. 4-star defensive lineman, 6'4", 250. Kavion Henderson, I like both those guys a lot. Courtney Crutchfield got a pretty big boost. Courtney Crutchfield, I think it was Courtney that got the big boost in the rankings. Out of Pine Bluff. Naril White, Julius Pope, KJ Jackson, Jaden Boff, I don't know how you pronounce his last name, Jaden Allen, CJ Brown, Akari Johnson, and Tevis Metcalf. And according to 247, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 4-stars. If you added Russell in the tackle, let's see, wait a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, yeah, that would give you 8 4-stars in this class. Currently, Arkansas is ranked with the top 25 class, 21st overall. Their composite and their overall ranking. We know transfer rankings. We won't have any idea until a little while later. We're not going to know anything about transfers for a while for this class. But the incoming class of transfers, you're ranked. Did we get movement on that at all? No. Looks like they're still 11th. Okay. Yeah, so the 2023, you know that class that's coming in, they're 11th overall in the country. Well, that's a good looking incoming transfer class too. I'm telling you guys. I'm telling you. Gonna be some studs amongst those transfers. I feel like this is gonna be as impactful, maybe more so impactful, when you're talking about a group of transfers coming in. I'm telling you, man, these guys are all gonna. I think just about every one of these guys are gonna contribute in some way or another. Some potential to be stars. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I think there's I really, really like the tight end they got out of North Texas. Varkey's Gums. Man. So glad he recommitted or whatever the hell happened there. Trayon Jeffcoat, edge rusher out of Mizzou. Does he have I'm not going to sit here and tell you he's going to be a star. I don't think he's going to be a star necessarily, but could have quite the impact. J.I.M. Singletary, corner out of Georgia, former 5-star out of high school. Tyrone Broden, Tesla. Can't forget about Snacks. Walcott, Greer. Golly, I'm telling you, man. This class is studly. Good-looking group of transfers. Hey, Scott Paymer, the $5 super chat. What's that one there? What is that? Ty, do you like our depth on D, and do you think it's quality as we look at the roster now? I think even though they lost Jordan Dominic, even though you don't have Drew Sanders, who oftentimes lined up off the edge as an off-ball rusher, you couldn't, we always included him when you talked about the linebackers, but it's going to be a different look up front this year. You're going to have better depth, right? You're going to have better depth along the defensive line because you're going to run a true old-school 4-man front. You're going to run a true old-school 4-man front, right? You're looking at Trayon Jeffcoat, John Morgan, Jashad Stewart at defensive end, at the probably the left side. Right side's going to be Landon Jackson, Nico Davier, Zach Williams. Your interior, you're looking at Cam Ball, Eric Gregory, Torrin Carter, Anthony Booker, KV Rose, maybe Marcus Miller. We'll see what happens with him. Fifth-year kid out of Warren, came up with Burks. We'll see, right? But you're gonna get a lot more movement up front on the defensive line. You're gonna see a lot more faces because again, you're gonna run you're not running this flimsy kind of 3-man front. You're gonna run a true 4-front for the most part. I'm sure it's gonna be multiple. I'm sure they're gonna run a little 3-man here and there. It wouldn't shock me, especially when they go up against teams that really like to attack the back end of your defense or try to throw over the top, right? They're gonna probably, personnel-wise, they're gonna try to adjust to that. So you'll see some 3-man fronts, but no, I do like the depth. I wish they would have kept what's his face with just Jordan Dominic. God bless, man. But with Landon Jackson, Zach Williams is back. People keep telling me this is going to be his year. It's going to be his year. I've heard that now for 3 years. Now, maybe he has that senior burst. You know how some years you just get this guy who, for 2-3 years, however long he's been a player, doesn't really contribute or he struggles or sometimes injuries. I think part of that's been Zach's issues. He's dealt with some injuries, but, who hasn't at this point in their career? Maybe he has that senior just kind of explosion where he's a monster and just goes off and becomes the guy we all thought he was going to be when he committed to Arkansas out of Little Rock. Nico Davier, athletic, can kind of play in a couple different places up front. Yeah, I like their depth. I like Torrin Carter, Cam Ball, Gregory, Booker. I'm really excited about Booker. KV Rose. I think it's good. How good? I don't know yet. We're gonna have to wait and see. That's kind of the more with transfers than you do. I would even dare say JUCO. You have a better idea about transfers than you do JUCO. JUCO, I don't know. You just never really knew what you're getting out of JUCO players, I don't think. But you can say the same thing about transfers, too. Sometimes their game doesn't come with them, right? The good doesn't always travel with them. What they accomplished at their previous school or all the hype and excitement doesn't always come here. It did with Drew Sanders, without a doubt. McLaughlin, right? You've had some impactful transfers, and maybe that's going to be – maybe that'll be Anthony Booker and Rose this year. But as far as, like, you look at some of these seniors, these guys just really haven't taken off. Zach Williams is a guy I would really love to see have that senior year, that final year. Same with Marcus Miller, too, by the way, who's a fifth-year guy, right? Isn't that right? I don't know what that one is, Scott. What is that one? Is that celebrating, like, 1 year, or is this, like, your first Super Chat, maybe? What is that? YouTube's always doing stuff, and I don't ever know. Oh, okay, hang on. Okay, it is first Super Chat. I see it. In small letters there. Celebrate the first Super Chat. Hey, congrats, Scott. Now it keeps up with you guys. When you do your Super Chats, that's pretty neat. Landon Jackson is a machine. I see big things from him this year, says Philip. Steven 1383 sub tie. I got an out there question. With a favorable schedule in good class, if Coach P overperforms this year, could it set us up for a trap year next year? Oh, I don't know. In this day and age, again with the portal, you know, who knows? I don't know. I'm not really sure what you mean by a trap year. You mean like because you won't have KJ, you likely won't have Rocket going into 2024. Is that what you're talking about? Snacks is still here. Depth should be better. Okay, it's hotter than two rats. Thank you, Wyatt Peters, for that description. I appreciate that. Gotta save up my Coors Light cans. Hey, keep doing it, brother. Appreciate the super chat. I really do. So, yeah, you look at these possibilities for next commits. Those are the announcements that are coming up. Who's next of that bunch? Would love to. If you guys, hey, you're more than welcome. Maybe we could do a wheel spin. Who's next? Throw them up. Do they land any of these guys? I'm going to tell you, they are getting some. They're going to get another commit or two this month, and there's going to be someone that's going to come out of the woodworks. I feel like I think someone either this month or July, maybe August, someone who we just kind of are just starting to hear about. I'm not saying that I know who that person is. I just feel like that's going to happen. Pittman can pull out an ace every now and again. So, again, we'll go over those names one more time. Jaquan McCroy. All right, that's June 30th. I believe that's still on course. Chris Johnson, July 4th. Braylon Russell, at the moment, still July 14th. Kobe Branham out of Fort Smith, June 26th. Now, I also think we are going to get more names added there as well. Again, if I'm missing anybody, please remind me. If you're watching this after the fact, bring it up down in chat, and I'll double check and get a good look at it. See what's going on. I could see us having a really good year this year, get kind of screwed next year, and everyone being on the fire pit train. That's what I meant by trap. Well, I'll tell you this much. I kind of got an idea what you meant. If he goes out, if Arkansas, let's say Arkansas wins 9 games, regular season. I'm not talking about the bowl game. I always hate forecasting wins and losses when it comes to bowl games, but, because it's so damn early. But if he goes out and wins 9 games, he would have to really fall on his face in 2024. What sucks is, and I'm talking about for the people who want him fired, What sucks is in 2024, you are probably going to be without Rocket. You are, even though KJ has another year of eligibility, I feel like KJ's going to finally hit the road. I mean, I say finally. I mean that for him. I'm sure he's ready to test the NFL waters. You know, you're probably going to have turnover at wide receiver. I think there's several of those guys that only have 1 year of eligibility left. We'll see what happens with guys like Isaiah Centenia. Gums has, he's got like 3 years of eligibility left. Obviously, you have Haas at tight end. But saying all that, though, doesn't matter, again, because of that damn portal. As fun as it is to kind of keep up with, it's also a pain in the ass when you're projecting now. 3 years ago, you didn't have that issue, right? Before the portal, it was just like, well, so-and-so will be this. He'll be a redshirt junior, redshirt senior, or whatever. You could kind of forecast a little bit easier what was going to happen a year or two down the road in terms of your personnel, your depth chart. You can't do that anymore. And I complain about that a lot because, damn it, I miss being able to do that. Now it's like, well, if they could keep so-and-so from transferring. I have a question about basketball. Oh, Lord, I've not paid any attention to basketball. I mean, I'm kind of off. I'm on to football now, Tony. I have a question about basketball, but I don't want to have you stray from schedule. So let me know when I can ask a basketball question. I'm going to be real with you, man. You guys know how I operate. I kind of move. I'm on to the next sport, and I've already forgotten certain elements of basketball. I'm moved into the final, getting into the recruiting in June. If it's a simple basketball question, I might be able to answer. I'm encouraged about coaches' passion about putting a good team on the field. Even with the Morris class, he kept pushing. Yeah, he kept pushing at it. He's a great coach. Sam has defied the odds, really. I mean, there's not many position coaches that go on. I think about what he had to do, right? I mean, we've talked about it so many times, but he had to rebuild Arkansas football from the ground up. Now, he had a great, when you've got someone like Hunter Yurchek behind you, that helps, and I'm sure he'd tell you that. But he did such a good job of putting together a staff of guys that were going to help put him in a place where together as a coaching staff, and I'll even give Barry Odom a little bit of credit. I mean, say what you want about him, and I'll agree with you. I know that there's several of you who agree with me on Odom's performance as a defensive coordinator. It wasn't great. I don't think he ever lived up to that high-dollar deal that he got being a defensive coordinator at Arkansas for 3 years, but he did help set a foundation. Same with Kendall and the rest of that staff, the guys that have come and gone, even the guys who were like, they're better without. Those guys still did a good job of helping Sam to build those foundations, and they were certainly a part of it. The product on the field was night and day different, better, so many steps in the right direction because of Sam and his hires. Oftentimes we'll hear people say, well, he was only great because he had so-and-so at coordinator, right? He had so-and-so as a defense coordinator, so that's why he was great. He was propped up. Think about the guy who contacted that coach or whatever, position coach, coordinator, brought him there, convinced him to be the guy, to come be the coach, to coach the offense or the defense or the secondary. That guy's the coach. That guy goes to his athletic director and he says, hey, we need to pony up, $800,000, $750,000, $1 million, whatever. We got to pony up the cash to go out and grab that next great whoever, right? And Sam did that. Sam and Hunter together, help build what we know now is to be at least, at the very least, a more respectable football program than where it had been for the prior 3 years or whatever it was. So kudos to Sam, and the job he's done has been great. I do think this year, if they do go backwards, if they finish with a let's say they barely get into another bowl game, if they finish 6-6. I don't know that fans, 2024, you're going to start to see, I think, a little bit of heat put on Sam. Like, okay, all right, man, that's back-to-back years where you barely made a bowl game. Yeah, you turned us around, and we recognize where we were at before you, but that doesn't give you a pass forever. Like, in this day and age, man, You just can't do that, right? You can't have back-to-back barely making a bowl game type of seasons. You can't have back-to-back years where you're losing to teams like Liberty. You lose to A&M, who was a shit show. You lost to A&M, man. Like, if there was ever a time like they're a wounded animal and you still couldn't beat them, what are we doing? So you turn around in 2023, and let's say you do it again. You lose, and A&M's not so great with Petrino's an OC. Jimbo's still there, and they barely get by with 6 or 7 wins, whatever the case, or once again not make a bowl game. If this happens and you lose some head-scratching games that barely get in, it's going to put a lot of pressure. You want to talk about a trap season. You could argue, and I kind of like that expression, sure. We talk about trap games. Why can't we talk about trap seasons? Maybe this year's a trap season, because if at the very least it's got a lot of pressure on him. There's pressure to perform. KJ will likely not be back. Rocket Sanders has been talked about as a possibility of being a late first-round draft pick. Now, I don't know that he goes. I know that they had 2 running backs taken this year in the first round, but I don't know that you'll see that happen. That's rare to have 2 backs taken in the first round. But Rocket probably would be one of the first 3 or 4 backs taken off the board, assuming he has another year like he did a year ago. But, yeah, you just can't have any more just head-scratching losses. Like, that's got to be done and over with. We thought we were done with that, remember? No more of that. No more, losing to teams you have no business losing to. And here we are. You did. You lost one. You got destroyed by Mississippi State. Yeah, you were without KJ, but hey, what's up, Nathaniel Looney? Hey, Ty, what is the game you don't want to miss out on this year? Do you see any upsets on the schedule, like LSU, Alabama, or a win, like an LSU or Alabama win last chance against Bama for a while? Yeah, well, you don't have Bama on your schedule in 2024. Who knows the next time you have Bama on your schedule? Right. I mean, I kind of like their approach when they said, we looked at the last however many years, and that's how we kind of put together their schedules. They say they did that, and I think for the most part they kind of stuck. Whatever formula they claim they used, it's still a hard schedule, right? Not having Bama in 2024 is interesting. I'm still kind of shocked that Arkansas didn't get screwed with Alabama maybe taking the place of whoever else. But, yeah. I don't know. As far as upsets, I don't want to give away too much, Nathaniel. I don't want to give away too much because I do plan on, you guys know how I roll. I'm going to give an official prediction the week of, when you start week 1 preparation for Western Carolina. It would be that Monday. I don't want to give away too much because I do have something that might surprise you that's possibly in store for Arkansas in 2023. Do I see an upset? I don't know. Like, again, I'll have to get back to you the week of September the 2nd, right, when Arkansas plays Western Carolina. We'll have to wait and see. I just don't want to give away too much. But that schedule lines up interesting, though, right? Western Carolina, Kent State, BYU, at LSU. You're down in Arlington for A&M. At Ole Miss, at Bama, Mississippi State at home, at Florida, Auburn, FIU, and Mizzou. Arkansas won't be ranked preseason. I'll be surprised if the AP puts Arkansas anywhere near the top 25. I mean, they could keep them on the bubble, maybe somewhere around 30th. But yeah, I have a pretty good idea of where I think Arkansas. I mean, I'm about 75% sure what I think Arkansas does. Maybe some will like it, some you won't. Remember last year coming out of spring camp, I said 9, and then coming out of fall camp, I said 8. And some of you didn't like that. So I didn't do a too early pick. I thought I would. I didn't. But that's a tough one. What was the other part of your question? What is the game you don't want to miss out on? I don't want to miss any of them. If you're going to ask me like a game that even the most casual football fan would want to circle. Of course, it's always, at LSU, at Bama, right? At Florida could be interesting, but I don't know what to make of Florida this year. I don't think they're going to be very good. I'm going to be honest with you. You still got to play down at the Swamp, right? And of course, Arkansas doesn't. How often? Talk about another team you may not play for a while, Florida, or maybe you'll play them more often now. I don't know. Now that we've scrubbed divisions, but within the conference, I don't know that there's. You don't have a non-conference game that's mind-blowing, which kind of sucks. BYU, sure, that's a game you're going to want to watch. Remember what Arkansas did on the road to them last year. Auburn in Fayetteville, right? That's going to be a fun one. I think that'll be interesting. Who back in Fayetteville again. Missouri's going to be in Fayetteville, thank God. I don't want to give away too much. They looked at the last 4 years, apparently. Yeah, that's their formula. They looked at the last 4 years, and what was the other part of that equation? Like, was it top 25 wins? It was something like that. I don't know. It's beautiful that we don't have to. It's beautiful that we don't have to see none of Florida, Georgia, and Bama. Just don't be surprised in 2025. Yeah, 2025 they're gonna get you, right? 2025 they're gonna hit you with all of them. I promise you this, they won't go undefeated, I promise. Are you talking about Arkansas? Well, yeah, I mean. The SEC requires all members to play an autonomous 5 game in their non-con. But last year, our 3 were Liberty, Cincinnati, and BYU, right? None of those fell under that obligation. How did that work? I don't know. Do they consider BYU? Because they were independent still, right? Last year. Weren't they still independent? Maybe they consider that independent opponent because they were ranked. Because remember, BYU was ranked coming into the year. I don't know. How that worked. And is that rule fairly new? So maybe it doesn't kick in until next year? I don't know. Some of you guys are way more up to date on that stuff than I am. I haven't been this excited in a while considering this new hires. Considering the new hires and returning talent, especially on offense. Yeah, I'll just say this. I'm really excited to do my prediction this year. I will say that. I am right now at the moment. I've still got a lot of reading left to do, right? I got a lot of I'm trying to hit some folks up who cover other teams. I want to try and bring some of them on this summer. Get them to talk about their team and their preparation for Arkansas and their thoughts on Arkansas. I'm working on that. Schedules are a pain in the ass, but yeah, I've still got some work left to do. But I feel 75% sure where I think Arkansas falls because that schedule rule didn't change until after the season. Okay, and that was just recently, right, John? All right, we're coming up on 7 p.m. Appreciate Scott with the super chat. Patreon supporters, you guys are also rock stars. Legendary status members, Jay Massey, Thomas Nunley, Timothy Wysant, and Will Watkins. Want to make sure we get that shout out. We'll do it, I don't know, we'll do it twice, whatever. Keep an eye on these announcements. I will say that June is going to be a good month. I will say that. Now, Patreon members, we're going to have a more in-depth discussion here in just a little bit. But, yeah. Could be a really fun. And July could be fun, too. The Russell stuff is kind of up in the air. Like I said, it kind of changes. I swear to God, I don't know with Russell just yet. When I hear something concrete, and I get the okay too, I'll head over to Patreon, Discord, talk about it. We don't have nearly the amount of press that we did last year, which is I think a great thing. I know the rule will be I know that rule will be a big thing going forward. Yeah. Nathaniel says, I think this year, at least our new look defense would have won at least those close games last year based on talent and no injuries. Yeah, that's just part of it, though, right? The injuries. I am really excited about what they're doing on defense. You can't get much worse in the secondary. Arkansas was one of the worst secondaries in all of college football. I mean, it was atrocious. I thought that was the worst pass coverage I've ever seen in my life. Let's just hope they did enough, right? A little bit concerned about safety. I won't deny it. There's a couple spots on defense I'm a little like, I don't know. But overall, it feels like these hires on defense. Well, I mean, these were all big hires for Sam because this is the first. When you talk about the amount of change that happened in the offseason, that's a lot of change. Just on one side of the ball, and think you had to do the same thing on the offense. You had to hire a new tight end coach, new offense coordinator. That's big. That's big, man. I mean, what an offseason. We'll see how much of that was it too much to overcome. That's something you have to factor into your equation when you're talking about what Arkansas could do in 2023. Were these changes that they had to make, with these position coaches and the coordinators? These are big changes, man, and you had to do them all in a single offseason. I don't think enough people are talking about that. Maybe that should factor in more, and I think that's part of why I'm at 75% sure instead of like 90% sure. Because I still just don't know what to make of all these changes on both sides of the ball. It's big enough when you're talking about just replacing a coordinator. You had to replace everybody, man, almost everybody, right? Except your line of scrimmage. Your coaches on the line of scrimmage are still here. Thank God. New linebacker coach, new guys in the secondary, new defense coordinator, new tight end coach. New offense coordinator. Of course, Dan Enos is a familiar face, obviously, to Hog fans, and to Sam Pittman. But that's something I think we have to factor into the equation. Like, God, these are a lot of changes. Is it too much? And does that overcome Sam? Or maybe it did overcome Sam, and we see the reflection of that this fall, and it looks like a shit show. I don't think so. But remember, that better product, those guys that were responsible for that, those coaches that are responsible for that, they're like all gone. But then you could argue, well, yeah, but they got better in 2000. We saw what happened in 21, and there were some changes in 2021. Look at the change you made along the defensive line. Look at what you did in the portal and how big of an impact some guys had. Talk about Drew Sanders. Do they have a Drew Sanders on either side of the ball when you're talking about the impact? We'll see. Lot to discuss. And it's going to be fascinating to see how this all kind of unfolds. And of course, you guys know I'll be here to cover it all. So remember, 3 bits of content this week. So this is live show number 1. We'll probably do another live show at the end of the week, get us all caught up, and try and get you guys that third piece of content being some edited content. So, all right, Patreon supporters, I'll see you over on Discord. If we get enough of you guys, we'll do it to it. We'll have we'll go into some more detail about recruiting, give you some updates, some things that were not said here. So I'm looking forward to it, Patreon supporters. All right, everybody else, I'm glad you're here. Thank you so much. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Yeah, hit the like button. Got to get the likes up. That's come on, we could do better than that. We can do better than that. All right, till the next time. I don't have an outro anymore. Till next time. I'll see you guys in the next video.